Congratulations on your purchase of the QSB Wave, and welcome to our instructional guide on how to use the Wave both directly with you in the room, and we're going to go on at the end of the video, we'll look at how to use it remotely so that you can treat anybody anywhere on the planet. So let's get started and look at what you have. So you should have a QSB. You either bought this beforehand and added the QSB Wave later, or you bought it as part of your package. So the QSB, and then you should also have a power supply that came with your QSB, and you should have a QSB Wave which looks like that, and a cable, or rather two cables that combined into one, which connects everything together. So the QSB is designed, or rather the QSB Wave is designed so that the QSB will sit on top of it like that. So that's one way to use it. You can always also use it side by side, and for some things you will need to use it side by side. So let's go ahead and power everything up, and you'll see what lights need to come on, and so that you can check that everything is working as it should. So the first thing to do is to plug in your power supply. Now, for this you need to plug in your power supply no longer to the QSB directly, but needs to go firstly into the QSB Wave. Now if you look at that, you'll see that there are two connectors, two positions to put this cable, and that's looking at the power cable, which is the round cable here. That will fit into either one. It doesn't matter which one you connect it to. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to plug it into the left hand. Yeah, so that is your power supply, and I'll plug this in a minute. I can't actually reach the socket from here, but that should then connect to your power supply. Then you need to connect your QSB Wave to your QSB. So you will notice that you have a cable here which looks, with the end looks exactly like the one that you had for your power supply. So you plug that in the spare one. So that for me is the right hand side, and then you have one extra cable, that is for your signal, and that goes into the hole just above the two power connectors. So now you need to connect the QSB Wave to the QSB. So it's fairly clear what needs to happen here. You've got two cables that you can connect. One which you'll need to connect into your power supply on the left hand side, and then the other one you'll need to connect into your signal. So now that we have everything connected, we can have a look at what happens when we plug in our power pack. Okay, our power pack is now connected, and if you look at your QSB, you will see that there are two green lights showing, and that means that everything is working as it should, because what is happening now is that the power is coming to your QSB Wave and then out to power from there, and connecting and powering your QSB, and then the signal from the QSB Wave is overriding the signal that would normally come out of your QSB if it was just connected just to run normally. So now you have everything set up to do a QSB Wave treatment. So let's talk about quantum wave genetics. Quantum wave genetics, as you will remember from reading our literature or watching one of our videos, is the process of providing information to us so that we can repair and renew our DNA. We can reverse our age, start to reverse our aging process, and we can repair damaged DNA. Now, the way that we do that is with a photograph. Now, this may be a bit of a leap for some people, but It works on the principle that Peter Garriev, the Russian scientist, discovered this, that when you take a photograph, not only do you capture the light from the of the occasion and the lightness of the person, but you capture information from their energy field, and that energy field contains like a snapshot of our DNA status or our information from that time, and we can actually read this information and provide it to ourselves. And the way that you do that is you take a photograph. I've got one here, it's in black and white. I'm a child of the 60s, so there wasn't much in the way of colour photography around at that time. A black and white baby photo, black and white works fine. Also will work if it's a photocopy or a printout. So that information is still contained within the photocopy or on an image that's been printed out. So if I put that on the QSB Wave, what is happening now is that the QSB Wave is reading that information from the photograph and adding it to the frequency which is generating, which is 528 Hertz. So it's riding on a carrier wave, so the 528 is the carrier wave, and then on top of that we have the information that's contained within the photograph. So that is now coming to the QSB, and the QSB is transmitting it out to the room so that anybody in the room is receiving that signal. So everybody's receiving that 528 plus the information contained in that photograph. Now that photograph needn't be there on its own. You can put multiple photographs on there and you can stack them up and they will still all collectively be transmitted to the room. So if you have a room of say 7 people, you have 7 people's baby photos on there. All that information is going out into that space, and everybody will get that information that they need. So although everybody's information is there, the higher self, this part of you that's actually doing the healing, doing the repair, will take what it needs from the field of information, the field of energy that's been provided by the QSB. So you will notice that you could, depending on the size of your photograph, you can stack your QSB one on top of the wave. And you see that this photograph's a little bit large, so it's sticking out of the side. You can do that, or as I started, you can have it side by side. Either works just fine. So another thing that you can use, if you don't have a baby photo, or if you have some baby DNA. So this is actually hair from a baby's hair sample contained within a glass bottle. If I put that on the wave plate, the energy from that is being read and transmitted out to the room in the same way as the energy and the information was being collected and transmitted from the photograph. So baby hair works just as well. So one of the questions that we get asked, and it's a very obvious question, you need to know the answer, is what photo will work for you? Now, if you've got a baby photo like I do, then it's very clear. It doesn't matter if there's somebody else in the picture with you, as long as it's got your head in it and head and upper torso is fine. It doesn't have to contain the whole of you. It needs to be when you are completely healthy. Now, if you don't have a picture of you when you were a baby and when you were completely healthy, there are other options. So basically, what you need to have is the information from your mother and your father. So who has this information contained within their photograph? Well, if you have a sibling, then you can use a baby photo, a healthy baby photo from your brother or your sister. And if you have a congenital condition, or you're treating somebody with a congenital condition, this is where you probably would want to go. A healthy sibling, then that would provide all the information, the DNA information for you to help to reverse whatever that congenital condition is. If you're still struggling from there, then you can go. You can just keep asking the question: who has my mother and my father's DNA, and do I have a baby photo? So if you have a nephew or a niece from a full sibling, then they will have your mother and your father's DNA. If you have had a child, then that child will have your mother and father's DNA that's been passed on through you. If you have a grandchild, the same thing will work, but I mean you're moving further away. If a child would be preferable in that respect. You can also use a baby photo from your mother and your father and combine them. So if you a picture, a baby photo of my mother and a baby photo of my father, put them on there, that would work just as well. And there are one or two other combinations, but if you ask yourself the question, where is my mother and my father's DNA in the picture of a healthy baby, then that's going to take you to where you need to go. One of the questions that you will want an answer to is to how long and how often you will need a QSB wave treatment. Well, how long is indeterminate, depending on what you need in terms of healing and repair. People have determined that an hour and a half is like the top end of what you would actually need. If you paid it for more, it's not going to do you any harm, but it might not be beneficial in terms of that particular session. People have also got results from as little as 20 minutes a day. So if you have access to a pendulum and know how to use one, or you can do some muscle testing, or you know somebody that has access to those skills, you could determine for yourself what you need. But in terms of how often, you'd need to have it regularly, preferably on a daily basis, because this information doesn't seem to be storable within our energy field. So we're in the process of overwriting that damaged, degraded DNA information which is contained within our field, but once we need to present that baby DNA information, that undamaged DNA information, on a daily basis. So this really needs to happen daily, either directly, then you're sitting with it, or if that doesn't work for you, then there is also the possibility of doing this process remotely, which we're going to get to in a few minutes. Okay, that's quantum wave genetics, but we can also use the QSB and the QSB wave for some other rather exciting things, and that is making our own remedies. So for this, you would just need the QSB and the QSB wave set up as before, powered up as before, but this time we're not going to put a baby photo on there, although we could put a baby photo plus some of the things I'm going to show you now. But we're going to put some things that we wanted to treat ourselves with. So let's say we want to treat ourselves with this herb. I think this is just mint, but you can put it on there. Now that the energy, the frequency rather, from that mint is being picked up from the wave and being transmitted to the room. Similarly, you could use other herbs. There's some parsley there. You can make a combination. So that is being transmitted to the room and affecting everybody. You could have an existing remedy. This is actually an oil. So a lot of oils you cannot ingest, but they have valuable frequencies contained within them which we can benefit from. So essential oils, you can put them on there and you can receive the beneficial frequencies contained within that oil or whatever remedy, whatever natural herbal remedy or homeopathic remedy on there is getting transmitted to the room. So, and also, I mean, another thing you could do is you could transmit the energy of a crystal. We've got a nice amethyst crystal there. We could put that on the plate. The frequencies, the healing frequencies contained within that crystal are now getting broadcast out from the QSB. So as you can imagine, there are plenty of possibilities as to what you can do here. But you can also make your own remedies. So let's say that you wanted to make a herbal remedy, but you've got 2 herbs there, put them on there, and you have a dropper bottle. You need a glass dropper bottle with some water in it. You want to fix that with maybe a drop of alcohol, vodka or brandy, or even vinegar will work. So a little drop of that, because you're making a homeopathic remedy. If you want to know more about homeopathic remedies, you can do your own research on that. But if you put that next to the QSB, now what's happening here is the information from these herbs is being collected and transmitted out through the QSB. It's going out to the room, so if you're in the room with it, you're benefiting, but you're also collecting that information in a remedy. So now I've had myself a herbal remedy, and I can build into my daily routines to take this throughout the day, and I'm benefiting from those herbs. So another thing that you could do is you can make your own food drops. We have people doing that. So exactly the same principles. You have your water, drop of alcohol or vinegar in there, and you put it by the QSB. Everything is powered up and running, and let's say I wanted to have the energetic benefits from this pair. I could put it on there and put that information into the water, and I've got a food drop. I've got the energetic benefits from that fruit without actually having to eat that fruit. And let's say I wanted to make myself a remedy with 10 different fruits and 20 different vegetables, something that would be quite hard for you to eat on a daily basis. You could just keep adding those and individually adding the charge to the water there. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless, and we've only scratched the surface as what can be done. If you get on our forum, you will find that people have been experimenting, and we'll give you some more ideas to play with. Okay, now we're going to talk about using the QSB Wave to treat people remotely. Now, this might be a stretch for some people. For others, it will seem quite logical and reasonable, and with the knowledge that everything is connected. And we can use that principle to make the connection from the QSB, which is transmitting the information from the baby photo or any remedy, as we've discussed, directly to you and to anybody else that has the connection made. So this is the receipt of the information and the generation of that carrier wave of 528, and that's going to the QSB. And then it's going out to the room. But we can also make that connection using the principles of quantum entanglement to connect that to you or to anybody that you're treating anywhere in the world. So a very simple setup for this. Baby photo is still on the wave there, and just like treating a room full of people, you can treat a lot of people remotely in exactly the same way. So you can stack up these photos. You might want to put a weight on them to keep them, to keep them there and stable. But you can stack upload the photos on the QSB Wave. And then for every photo, baby photo that you have on the Wave, you will want to have a current DNA sample to make the connection. So this is like, one analogy you could give, this is like the email address to send this information to. So one way to get to that email address is to have a current hair sample or a current nail sample. So you can take some nail clippings, put them in a little baggie, like that, and put it in a plastic container, Tupperware container, or some food container, something to sit next to your QSB, and that is now making the connection. So if that's my baby photo, then that baby photo information, which it is my baby photo, that information now is being picked up and transmitted out through the QSB and making that connection with my current DNA sample, which is contained within there. So I can walk away from this, I can go into the next city, I can go into the next country, and as long as this is set up and powered up, I am receiving that information. So you can see that this is a very powerful way to treat people and to provide that DNA repair and anti-aging information to anybody and anybody anywhere they are in the world. So that's a very powerful thing. We actually have people that have set themselves up as part of what they're offering. They're usually generally practitioners. They've added to their repertoire the QSB Wave. So even if you don't have the QSB and the QSB Wave, you can connect with them on our website, and they will provide this service for you. But if you have bought a QSB and a QSB Wave, then you've got pretty much everything that you need to set that service up for yourself. So you can do it for yourself, you can do it for your family, you can do it for anybody. But one thing that is important is when you're doing it, is to make that connection with the person by giving them a phone call or speaking to them and say, are you open to this? If I send you some remote healing from the QSB Wave, all I need is a baby photo from you and a hair sample. Are you okay with that? Make sure that they're on board. And if you set up a time for it, if you set up a time and say, well, okay, this is going to be happening at 7 o'clock at night, or 5 o'clock in the morning in your time zone, or whatever time works best for the recipients, then people can add a very powerful component to it, and that is their own consciousness. So if I've been told that I know that this is going to be set up and running at 7 o'clock at night, and I sit down quietly at 7 o'clock at night, and I get into the state of receiving this information and telling my body to use it to repair, then I'm using my consciousness in line with the technology, and then it takes it up a notch to a different level of potential. So that concludes our QSB Wave instructional. I hope it was informative and beneficial for you. If you want more information, what I recommend that you do is you make sure that you've signed up to our forum. On that forum there is lots of information and feedback from people that have been using the Wave, explaining how they use the Wave, the results that they're getting, how long, all the questions that you may be starting to ask in your head that I haven't already answered. You're likely to find them there. And if you don't find them there, you can add your own question, and there'll be somebody there somebody will provide an answer or some input to help you.